I need somebody to turn to Matthew, the 2nd chapter, and somebody else to turn to Luke, the 2nd chapter.
I'll get Matthew.
Now, I was going to start this from the top down, but I'm going to start from the bottom up.
Oh.
Need that.
Luke 2 where, do you know?
Yeah, first 3 verses.
Okay.
Okay. And can everybody see this all right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm going to use black now. We're going to talk about 2 different things tonight. 3 round objects and a rock. And a man and a rock. Okay. This right here, if you guys remember, is Nebuchadnezzar's dream, interpreted by Daniel. Okay? This is Babylon, big here, and then Persia, Syria, and now we're down to this part right here. Okay? And this is considered to be the Roman Empire. Okay. Now, what is all this, and then these things right here have to do with Luke 2 and Matthew 2. Okay? Who's got Matthew?
I do. What verses?
I think it's 1 and 2.
After Jesus.
No, 1, 2, 3.
Okay. After Jesus was born in Bethlehem in Judea, during the time of King Herod, Magi from the east came to Jerusalem and asked, "Where is the one who has been born King of the Jews? We saw his star in the east and have come to worship him." When King Herod heard this, he was disturbed, and all Jerusalem with him.
Okay. Now, what's the law of Moses say, or God's law say? If you have 2 witnesses, then it's real, right? So how does we're going to look and see how these 2 things point to this as basically a reality. Okay. Now, look.
Okay. In those days, Caesar Augustus issued a decree that a census should be taken of the entire Roman world. This was the first census that took place while Quirinius, or something like, was governor of Syria, and everyone went to his own town to register.
Okay. History. We're going to do history. We're going to go from here to here, and from here to here. Okay? Now, to get there, we have to have some expectations. Okay? The expectations always has been on for the Jews is what was coming.
Messiah.
A Messiah, but what type? I mean, what was their version of Messiah? What was it going to be?
Earthly ruler.
General.
A king.
Take care of the Romans.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, in this vision, what was this?
The rock, Christ.
Christ, or a kingdom. Okay? Is there a big difference between kingdom and king? A king is an individual. This is basically a way of life. Okay? This is what they were expecting. Now, these people that were expecting this went through a lot of problems over here, didn't they? Clear down to the time we're getting ready to go to. Now, we talked about this last week. Now we're going through it. Now we're going to get real serious here about a guy by the name of Augustus. Augustus was a good politician, a really good politician. Now, I don't know, I could kind of bore you with this history or something like that, but he was actually a nephew of the original emperor of Rome, which was Julius Caesar. But he really wasn't as powerful as Augustus became, simply because he wasn't really, believe it or not, Julius Caesar wasn't into this part right here where the prediction got, because he didn't get that the whole world was, remember what Daniel said, the whole world was going to be under this reign right here. And that's what we've come to. Augustus Caesar became, and said the whole, what did it say in Luke?
In those days, Caesar Augustus issued a decree that a census should be taken of the entire Roman world.
The whole world. A lot different than just being the emperor of a state government like Julius Caesar was. So now we've transferred from all these kingdoms, all the stuff, and this was remember, this was a whole bunch of varying kingdoms in this part right here. Now we're to the end of this this prediction, if you will, or this prophecy, and that Nebuchadnezzar, a non-Jew, gave, that was actually now, it's kind of, we're doing a CSI on this, aren't we? Going from, here, back to here, proving that this is true. We've got two witnesses, Luke and Matthew, okay? Now, in order for this to work, it's got to come down to a due time, is what we're talking about. And Advent is not the due time. We're actually kind of in between here, what we're talking about now. Why is it the due time at this particular time when we go from a republic to an empire? Why is that so important? Because it also involves this right here, doesn't it? This prediction here, where this is going to be, this kingdom is going to be so mighty, so powerful, that it's going to, but eventually it crumbles. Now, it takes a long time for this rock to get down to here. It doesn't happen immediately. It takes time. Because what does God have that we don't have? Time. He's got all the time he wants to do whatever he wants to. So there's a lot of things that's happened in the, if you would bear with me, in the time that Augustus becomes Caesar. And the reason I'm telling you this is because remember, the world that Augustus creates, if you will, by the things that he decrees, is the world that Jesus grows up in. The world that Jesus is due time to come. So he's a very important player with what's going on as far as the due time. Now, what has he done? Anybody know what Caesar's most famous for? I'll just write it up. I can't forget it. It's Pax Roma. I'll get it.
Pax Romanus.
Romanus. Anyway, Roma.
Romanus, but I don't know how to spell it.
NUS.
NUS, okay.
NUS something like that.
That was
It's
that
it, but I've got it in there. I just been too lazy to go look at it. Okay, this means what? Peace. But there was no peace. Who promised to bring the world peace?
Christ did.
Okay. A lot different. He didn't have peace. There was a 1-year civil war that took place in the city of Rome. Now, we know, if you ever read any history about our own civil war. Now, can you imagine condensing that down to the area the size of Rome? Okay, so there wasn't really peace. They only had it for a year. Now, Augustus, his reign went from BC 27 to AD 17. 44 years? No, yeah, 44 years approximately. Mm-hmm. Now, we really don't know that for sure because our calendars and stuff like that's kind of, iffy. Because there's really no year zero. So anyway, supposedly he's going to bring, that was his big thing, was he's going to bring peace. Not only did he not do that, but he also instituted a lot of things. Some good things, some bad things. He's the first person who built up a police force in the city of Rome, a fire department in the city of Rome. He built, they built roadways. They had first courier services. Basically mail. There are a lot of things he did. But the one thing he did that affects us down here is up until the time of Augustus, the way they did collected taxes or revenue was if you was the puppet of the country and you was the puppet leader, puppet king, you would have to come up with we'd say, okay, we want this much tribute, we want this much taxes, and you would have to come up with it. However you wanted to do that, it's fine. Okay, but you might have to do it this year and next year, but you might not have to do it for 5 or 10 years, depending on if we remember to come back and get it from you. That's how it was kind of intermittent and there was no really set purpose. Well, Augustus